episode 5 of me learning how to bake for my capstone project. I haven't baked for a bit because I've been so busy with school and work especially, but today I'm not here to disappoint. So we're going to be starting off making tres leches, and this is a very famous Mexican dish. Tres leches meaning 3 milks, and this is what this recipe consists of. We got 3 different kind of milks, so let's get started. All right, so step 1, we're just gonna have our oven preheated to 350 degrees Celsius. So let me just do that. All right, so for this recipe, you are gonna need 5 eggs, and I haven't separated them yet. I'm gonna do that right now. All right, so this is my egg yolks and my egg whites, and we have them both separated. It's 5 eggs in total. All right, now that I have my eggs separated into the whites and the yolks, I'm going to take 1 cup sugar, which I have right here, and I'm just gonna add it up in here. And then I am also going to take my egg yolks and we're gonna mix it on medium to high speed until we get a little nice fluffy texture, and then we're gonna use the vanilla in to give us some flavor. Guys, I mixed up. Thought yolk was the white part. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna see if there's any recipe that needs this because it's such a waste. All right, so after dwelling on it, I realized I can still use it. Did some research, it should be fine. I'm just gonna swap them out. So, step 3, in a different bowl, but I don't wanna use a different bowl, so I'm just literally gonna keep this. I have the previous mix in a cup, so that's gonna be there. So I'm gonna mix this on medium to high speed. I'm gonna beat the egg whites until soft peaks form. And then I'm gonna gradually add the remaining 1/4 cup, let's say quarter of a cup of granulated sugar. So let's get started. Pretend the egg yolks are the egg whites. We're gonna beat it and add our sugar. All right, so step 4, we have to add the yolk to the dry ingredients. But before I do that, I'm gonna take all of my dry ingredients right over here. I don't know if you can see them all, but that's them. This is 1.5 cup of all-purpose flour, or 180 grams. 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So we're gonna sift them in just so everything's smooth. All right, now that I have my yolk and my flour all in the same bowl, I'm gonna mix them until they're combined. Then afterwards, I'm going to add the whole milk and butter and beat those until they're combined, leading out to me gently folding in the egg whites until fully combined. All right, now that I have my flour and the egg yolk perfectly combined, I'm going to add my 1/2 cup of milk and then 4 tablespoons of unsalted butter, which is melted, also can be measured out as 60 grams. All right, now that I have everything mixed, I'm gonna take our egg yolks. This just looks like beer. Not that I would know what that looks like, but now we're going to fold in the egg whites gently until it's just combined. So I think this is how I'm supposed to fold it in. All right, Now that everything is perfectly combined, we're going to pour it into our already greased pan. To something long like this. Let's get this ready. Now I have it here. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in the oven. All right, now that everything is baking, I'm gonna let it stay in the oven for 30 minutes at 350 degrees Celsius. We'll come back and take a look at it after. Right now, we're gonna get started on the filling. We got a long night ahead of us because this is what happens when you work like every night. You don't have time to freaking bake, you guys. All right, so now that the cake is baking, I'm gonna create the filling, just get it over with. The whipped cream I'm gonna do after when I'm letting the cake cool down. So basically, I'm going to take my 12 ounces or 1 can of evaporated milk. And these are all pre-measured out. I have them in like a billion different bowls and cups, clearly. Then I'm gonna take my 14 ounces or 1 can of sweetened condensed milk. I have that actually here. You might want to use your spatula for this because condensed milk is really like thick, so you're kind of fighting against it. And then I'm going to put in some vanilla, and I'll get that ready to be whisked. All right, just before I whisk everything, I need to add half a cup of whole milk. And after I whisk these, I'm just gonna put it in like a different bowl, let it sit in the fridge, and then after the cake is out, poke holes, pour the filling in. And this is basically where the name Tres Leches comes from, because tres is 3, leches is cake. Milk. Which is why. Because this recipe uses 3 different kinds of milk. So, let me mix this bad boy up. We'll get back to you after. Now that I have it here, thinking of separating it into this little milk carton that I have, just so I save up some space. So let's see if I can pour it in. So I just took the cake out of the oven. It's still really hot. I'm gonna let it chill for a few minutes, and as we learned, the baking still continues to go through while the product is still warm. So while I'm letting it cool down, I'm gonna get started on my other baking tasks, and the filling is already prepared. So as soon as it's cool, we'll poke our holes, add the filling, and let it sit in the fridge for a bit. Alright guys, so now that we've let the cake for the Tres Leches cool down, we're just going to take a fork. We're going to basically poke a bunch of holes all across the cake. Let me show you guys. So I just finished poking holes all over the cake. I'm going to stop now before it starts breaking. We have all of our Tres Leches right here. Right here. I'm just gonna pour this over the cake evenly. So I've just poured all the milks, and as you can see, the cake is already absorbing all of the liquids. I'm just gonna cover it up right now with some clear saran wrap and leave it in the fridge for an hour, just for it to moisten up. All right, I'm gonna leave it in the fridge for about an hour, let it soak up. All right, back to the tres leches. We're gonna finally create the whipped cream. I didn't have like milk heavy cream, so I had a Dream Whip, and this is usually what my sister and my mom use every time they make it, and it's delicious. So basically, the recipe says half a cup of cold milk and half a teaspoon of vanilla. But I'm using 2, so I just doubled it, 1 whole cup. So we'll pour our milk in. And pour this in. And for the second one, just vanilla. Then we're going to whip at the highest speed of electric mixer. Continue beating 2 minutes more. Alright, so I finally mixed it, and look just how beautiful this cream looks. Beautiful. I took out the cake. Just gonna unravel it. And we're going to take my burnt spatula. I'm just going to whip this cream on top, basically. Right, I'm almost done basically, but we cannot forget our dulce de leche. It's like this caramel sauce, and it's perfect for this. It's not actually part of the recipe, but my mom and my sister do this all the time, and it is just amazing. I'm literally done. This is what it looked like. Alright guys, I want to say thank you for watching this episode of me learning how to bake. Episode tres leches. I had a great time. Now I'm gonna go work on the other videos, but for the first time I have an actual outro, so that's all that matters. Bye guys.